Have you ever tried to look into the classes in Pathfinder and found that they were completely different than what you were used to? Perhaps you looked for the Paladin, only to find that led you to the Justice Champion cause. Maybe you wanted to remake your Ranger character in Pathfinder, just to find out that the class seems to be all about something called Hunt Prey. You might even have tried to find a Warlock, only to realize that they don't exist. Classes in Pathfinder can be pretty confusing. That's why I've made this video to explain what each class in Pathfinder does. Before I jump into that though, I want to take a quick moment to explain the 3-action economy in Pathfinder. The way that the system works is that a player character's action economy from D&D has been simplified. The resources of movement, bonus action, free item interaction, and action have been simplified so that all of these cost one or more universally used actions. As a side note, reactions have stayed mostly the same. The way that the 3-action system works means that a player can adapt to use their action economy in a new way each turn. One turn, they might spend 2 actions to stride, moving a distance up to their speed twice, then spend their last action to strike, making a weapon attack. A spellcaster might spend their turn casting a 2-action spell, then another action to activate an ability. Many classes provide the benefit of letting you do more things for an action than you normally could. The Ranger's Twin Takedown feat lets them attack twice for 1 action against their hunted prey. The Fighter's Sudden Charge feat lets them stride twice and then attack for only 2 actions. Now that we have that out of the way, let's move on to the classes themselves. The Fighter is a simple martial class that benefits from greater proficiency in martial and simple weapons than other classes receive. The way that proficiency works in Pathfinder is that instead of automatically scaling with player level, it increases in increments of 2. The Fighter begins at a higher weapon proficiency than any other martial class. This effectively grants them a permanent +2 bonus to all their attack rolls. This might not seem like a lot, but in Pathfinder, every bonus is important. Since this bonus stacks with any other bonuses fighters might receive, it single-handedly makes them one of the best martial classes in the game. They are also given access to some of the best martial feats available. The Cleric is a full spellcaster that uses the Divine Spell list. They must prepare their spells. They can specialize in either being a war priest, or more martially inclined cleric, or a cloister cleric, one who focuses on the spellcasting portion of the class. All clerics receive either a pool of heal spells or harm spells. The heal spell can either act like Healing Word or like Cure Wounds, depending on how many actions you spend to cast them. The cleric's choice of deity also grants them access to a special domain spell that recharge on the equivalent of a short rest and are always cast at the highest level or rank of spells that the character can cast. The Rogue is a martial class that centers around sneak attack. Sneak attack in Pathfinder requires that the enemy which the rogue is attacking be off guard to that attack. The most common way to achieve this is to position an ally on an opposite side of the enemy while both of you are within melee range. Rogues in Pathfinder can specialize in 4 different styles, called rackets. The Thief racket lets players add dexterity to their damage rolls with finesse weapons, something that no other class can do in Pathfinder. The Ruffian racket can sneak attack with non-finesse or agile melee weapons. The Mastermind can make enemies off guard by recalling information about a creature using an in-combat skill check. Lastly, the Scoundrel can use deception to make an enemy off guard more easily than other characters can. The Wizard is a full spellcaster that uses the Arcane Tradition. They must prepare their spells. They get more spell slots than most other casters, and essentially more than any other prepared caster. They specialize their magic by picking a wizard school. Rather than the different spell schools in D&D, like evocation or enchantment, these are more like themes. The School of Civic Wizardry provides players with utility and control spells. The School of Battle Magic gives players offensive and defensive magic. Next, I'm going to cover the Bard, Monk, Ranger, and Sorcerer. But first, if you've enjoyed this video so far, or if you've learned something new, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I plan to make weekly videos like this one to teach D&D players more about the Pathfinder system. Now, back to the classes. The Bard is a full spellcaster that uses the Occult Tradition. They have known spells, called spontaneous spells in Pathfinder. They're given access to a 1-action cantrip, called Courageous Anthem, that gives all allies within 60 feet a +1 bonus on attacks for 1 round. They can specialize depending on their muse, which grants them an additional spell they know and a free bard feat. The Maestro Muse focuses on making Courageous Anthem last longer. The Polymath Muse allows players to use the Performance skill in place of the 3 other Charisma skills on a handful of skill checks. The Warrior Muse lets players automatically extend the duration of Courageous Anthem when they strike an enemy. The Enigma Muse lets players recall knowledge about any topic using bardic lore. Finally, the Zoophonia Muse lets players make requests of animals using Performance. The Monk is a martial that typically focuses on fighting unarmed and unarmored. They can choose feats which give them access to stances. Monks can spend an action, typically on the first turn of combat, to enter this stance. The stance grants them some sort of special benefit. These benefits can range from faster move speed, better armor class, or longer jump distance. They also get a special type of unarmed attack from the stance, which they may be required to use exclusively. This pairs nicely with the Monk's Flurry of Blows feature, which lets them strike twice for 1 action at a regular multiple attack penalty. So their first attack of the turn suffers no penalty, and their second attack suffers a -5 penalty, or -4 if the stance attack or weapon they used was agile. The Ranger is a martial class that centers around the Hunt Prey ability. They can use it by spending an action to designate an enemy as their prey. This works similarly to Hunter's Mark, except that all Rangers gain a different benefit from this depending on what type of Ranger's Edge they picked. The Flurry Ranger's Edge receives a gentler multiple attack penalty against their hunted prey. The Precision Ranger's Edge grants a bonus to damage the first time in a turn the Ranger hits their hunted prey. The Outwit Ranger gets a bonus to armor class and a bonus to skill checks against their hunted prey. The Sorcerer is a full spellcaster that can use any tradition, depending on their specialization. They use known spells. Instead of being masters of metamagic, in Pathfinder, Sorcerers receive special benefits from their bloodline. They also get to choose what spell traditions they can cast from, depending on that bloodline. In addition to the tradition, they get a powerful focus spell that they can use once per encounter. There you go, 8 of the 25 classes in Pathfinder summarized. I hope this video helped you to understand the system a little better. If you have any questions about one of the classes, please comment down below, and I'll do my best to answer it. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this video, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.